Welcome everyone, my name is Phelisa Mafunda and I'm a financial wellness coach. I'm also an author of the book, Healing the Wounds of Debt. Let's just show it nicely. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please don't forget to subscribe if you are new here, and if you are old here, thank you for coming back. And yes, I know it has been a while since I uploaded a video in this channel. I'm going to try. I can't promise you anything, but I want to. My heart wants to keep on posting this content in this channel, and I also have a desire to grow this channel so that it reaches as many people as possible, and also to expand. Okay, so today I want to talk about one of the chapters that is in the book, which is the healing process. I feel I want to share the process of healing when it comes to debt. But before I do that, I want to give you just a little bit of background about the book. The book speaks about the emotional reasons why people find themselves in debt. I know most of the time we can justify the reasons why we are in debt. You can say, I needed a car, I needed building material, whatever that you wanted. I needed clothes, I needed TV and I didn't have cash. I needed this and that, or my car had a breakdown and I didn't have the money to fix it. I didn't have emergency funds. There could be a whole lot of rational reasons why we are in debt. There could be a lot, really. You could think of many reasons. I'm sure if you can sit down and think with the rational mind or with the conscious mind why you were in debt, you would actually find reasons. You would know, I needed to buy this, I needed to do this, my kids didn't have this, the school uniform, everything. You could have all those reasons. There was a funeral and I needed to contribute. There could be a lot of reasons, like real reasons that might look realistic in your eyes. But someone wrote in her book, she wrote, debt is a symptom. There is something deeper than that. So because of that quote, that this book was born because of that quote, and I was in the journey of finding myself and asking myself, okay, if there is more to the reasons why I am in debt. I had my reasons. One of the biggest reasons that I had was my car had an accident, and I didn't have the insurance hadn't covered it. It was a big story. I've written about it in the book. So I could justify I had an accident and the insurance couldn't pay for the car, so I needed to do something. It's one of the reasons. So it looked really valid. But until I read the book that say Money and Black People, that says there's a fundamental, or there's something deeper that's making a person to be in debt, I then made it my mission to find out what was my reason. First of all, it was about me. I wanted to find out what was my reason for being in debt. And then I went in deeper because I was exposed in the banking industry and I could see and read other people's behavior. Being a sales consultant, I would always see people, promising themselves, Uguti, this is the last debt they are taking. It's just that there is this emergency that they are covering, and all of that. And then boom, a person comes back again to take more debt, and they keep on promising themselves, but nothing happens. And I remember there was one lady who had taken her pensions. She was paying her bond, the car, the personal loan with the pensions, and I could read the frustration in her face when she realized that the money that she thought was a lot, the pension payout, got finished just after she had done the transfers. I remember her asking for me to bring in water, and it was such a painful thing to watch And yeah, I thought to myself, yo, there is really something, when I read the book, and I thought like, yeah, there's really something. And until I do something about this fundamental reason, or this core belief that's making me find myself in debt over and over again, maybe I might find myself be like that old lady who had cashed out her pension funds and was suffering now and was frustrated. I might find myself behaving like that. So I must do something now so that I don't get to be in that state. So when I then read about this core reason, I made it my point to say, what is it? And I find out what we get wounded at very early ages. There's a lot of reasons. I speak about it in the book. There's a whole section that speaks about the wounds. And really, as I grow and as I go deep into the financial coaching, I feel that the wounds that I have written in the book, it's just the tip. They cover the core, but there is more to it. So it's very important for one to find out what is it that is affecting, or that is making you to be in this in the cycle of debt. And really, one another thing that I've also discovered about the book, as I'm getting feedback to a lot of people, people come back to me and they say they wanted to trace their money behaviors. It's not only about debt. And I was like, oh, okay. They discover their money behaviors, and most of them, they trace their money behaviors from their ancestral lineage, and it's something that's really eye-opening for them. So like I said in the book, there's a whole section that's just speaking about the wounds. I think I've identified about 4 or 5 wounds. It's the childhood, it's the ancestral, it's the self-sabotage, it's 5 of them. It's the self-sabotage, it's the peer pressure, and it's the fear of money. Something that was very interesting when I discovered, but I will talk about it on a different video. So today I then said, okay, I want to speak about the healing process, give it out there. Maybe you will relate, or maybe it can help someone. The most important thing that I feel is very important for us, for everyone, is to first identify what is your wound. Identify. You can only identify your wound in your mind, because it's not something physical. It's not something that you can see. It's not like I'm wounded here, or I'm wounded in my hand. It's not something like that. It's something that is emotional. It's something that sometimes, or for some other people, it's spiritual, and you cannot identify with a naked eye. So you've got to go in deep within you and ask yourself questions. Why am I in this state? What is it? What is, you question your beliefs. I always speak about questioning your beliefs. And in this case, if you want to heal, allow your mind to identify the wound. You can only identify the wound if maybe you read about it. Like, for example, most people would read the book and then they would identify themselves in the wounds that I'm talking about, because I speak about the childhood, and in the childhood too, I speak about different scenarios where a child would be wounded. You would think, I can only be wounded only if I had a tough life, but you find out that even the people who've had the so-called soft life, they get wounded in a way. The decisions that they make, they are based on what they went through, and they can't face life, because so there's quite a lot of things. So you can only identify the wound if you can only know if you can identify with one of those wounds. So take time to read about the wounds, the emotional wounds. Take time to read about the emotional wounds. And then when you have then now read about the emotional wounds, then allow your mind to acknowledge you must acknowledge that, okay, this is where I am at. These are the reasons why I am behaving like this. And once you do that, then you will be able to then say, okay, you're bringing this wound into the conscious level, because it sits there and it goes to the subconscious mind, which I have discovered that our subconscious mind controls 80 to 90% of our outside behavior. So if it's sitting in your subconscious mind, you will forever find yourself creating emergencies that are making you to go back to debt, come back, come out, go back, come out, go back, revolving around that cycle. So it's very important to allow your mind take this wound and bring it to your subconscious, to your conscious level, so that you will be able to deal with it. So that is step number one. Step number one, identify and acknowledge. Then step number two, now that you've identified this wound, you have to now work with this belief, work with yourself, allow yourself to heal. In the medical term, they say our mind will record that we have a wound, and then we will bleed and whatever that happens. And then when the healing process starts, then there's something called the defensive phases, phase number 2 in the terms of healing. I've written about it in the book. So you are now in a point where you have identified that, okay, this is probably the ancestral wounds. My great-grandmother or my grandfather had this behavior, or it's something that runs in the family. You've heard a lot of people, they say it runs in the family. So if you've discovered, okay, it's something that runs in the family, now you have a decision to say, okay, I don't want this thing to run in the family anymore. I am taking full charge of myself. I'm taking full charge of my destiny. I'm taking full charge of my future. And also I'm creating a line, for my future generation. I'm creating a better future for my future generation. So I am allowing myself to heal. So now you've got to face these things, head on, if I can put it like that. It's your time to face it head on. And if you face it head on, it means there is going to be some sort of defensive mechanism, or whatever I can call it, that is going to happen between your subconscious. There's going to be a fight between your subconscious and your conscious mind, but you can only win your subconscious behavior by making it conscious. So now you tell yourself, and you be like, okay, this stops here. I no longer want to have this in my life. I'm done. Thank you so much. You have served me. I have learned my lesson, but I'm taking charge now. I'm moving forward, and I no longer want to be like this. And you obviously now you have to write down the behaviors, identify what is it that you want to be identified with. So if you were identified with a person, or you were identified with your grandparents or your great grandparents who used to survive in debt, or who used to waste their money, or we grew up, some of us not knowing our grandfathers, and we hear stories that they went and they came back late. I think came back late when they were old and the money was finished and all of that. And I always say, these days a person doesn't have to really necessarily go to Johannesburg and then called cheaper. I don't know what is cheaper in English, but someone who just gone and abandoned their family, and they come back home at a very later stage when the money is finished and they have nothing, and then only then they remember. So I always say there is no longer that need. People will still behave the same way as if they are not there, and yet they are physically present, but you wouldn't see the contribution or anything in their lives. So you will then say, okay, if there was that, if you were associating, or if you were identifying yourself with that, then you will go and be like, okay, I'm done identifying myself with this. I'm taking action. This is how I want to be identified. I always say, you can't just decide to say, I'm no longer believing in this, and then replace that with nothing, because you are opening a space. And if you then are not replacing this belief with something, the old belief will somehow creep in and go back to its own place. So whenever you are taking out a belief, or whenever you're taking out a habit, you must always replace it with something. So once you have identified, you must replace this new habit with this old habit with a new habit. It is going to be difficult, I do not want to lie, because your mind, you are so used to this. Like, for example, someone who is so used to driving an automatic car, when they get to a manual car, it becomes a struggle, and they, instead of them pressing on a clutch with the hand, with the brakes, they go straight to the brakes, assuming that the car will automatically change down. So even in this case, you are going to experience some sort of troubles, because you are not used to this thing. So you will find yourself frustrated, find yourself guilty, find yourself angry. For example, if you had a habit of saying in a month end, you blow your credit card, you use it with your friends, and now you're deciding, you know what, I'm done with this. Obviously, when it's time for you to go out and your friends are used to this, and you are like, no guys, I'm no longer doing this, you are going to feel guilty if they like, okay, Sakshia, we're leaving you behind. Or when you are in the in the club and you're having fun and you're deciding you're not buying and all of that, or so you are going to experience some sort of a fight between your conscious and your subconscious mind. It is okay, it is expected, because you have been living with this belief for years, and you're not just going to change it overnight. Even in the medical term, they say this defensive thingy where the wound gets swollen, it drains the pus and everything, it gets itchy and it becomes painful. So it is okay for you, and it gets uncomfortable. It takes about 4 days. So with you, because you're not used to having money every day, if for a person, I'm speaking on a person who is now an employed person who receives money once a month. So it is okay, because now it might take longer. You will do it this month, and then you expected to do it again next month, until this new habit is replaced. So allow yourself to go through the frustration. Don't run away from the frustration. Don't ignore the frustration. Acknowledge it. Okay, I am frustrated, but I am looking at the end results, because I am doing this. I want to change the way I am being identified. So it's very important for you to know that you are going to be frustrated. You are going to feel guilty at some point. You are going to have all these kinds of emotions. Allow yourself to go through those emotions, because if you do not allow yourself to go through these emotions, you're not going to understand. When you have now gone through the emotions, the bad emotions, feeling guilty, feeling all of that, you've allowed that, you've let go, you've acknowledged it. Now you want to put in the positive energy. You want to put in the positive behavior. What is it that you can do, to turn around the situation and make it, feel good moment? Because you can't feel bad all the time. Yes, you allow yourself to go through the emotions, feel all kind of lows and all of that, but then you will need to then wake up, pick yourself up, because you can't, when you have fallen, you don't sit there and say, okay, let the rain come, let the storms come, I'm not doing anything. You immediately stand up, dust yourself up, and then at some point laugh about it. So this is now when it comes to this, to the healing process, allow to implant or to put in the positive energy, do in the positive work, increase your vibration. I always speak about increasing your vibrations, and it's very important. Increase your vibration. You can do it by a lot of things. You can do there's people who recommend exercising, there's people who recommend meditation, but basically to put in the positivity, English, to put in the positivity in you, it needs you to do a lot of inner work. And the inner work is something that you only you can do. No one can do it for you. You can be guided, you can be assisted, but it's something that you can only allow. So there's a lot of things that we recommend as coaches, as inner work. Most of the coaches recommend meditation. I personally recommend meditation as well. There's positive affirmations. I don't really recommend positive affirmations, especially for a person who is not sure if they are healed as yet. My reason for that is because sometimes when you affirm something and your subconscious mind doesn't believe it, you are completely like repelling whatever that you're trying to achieve. So I learned that, and for me, that is why it's important to go through the negative emotions, clear them by going through them, you let them pass, and then allow and heal them. There's a coach that speaks about integrating the negative emotions with your nervous system. I learned about that, and I found it very powerful. So allow to go through them, and then you now infuse the positivity in you, infuse the positive energy in you. So you can do that, like I said, exercising, meditation, yes, if you have healed, affirmations too, and allowing yourself to be healed. We allow ourselves to be healed. If you don't allow yourself to be healed, you can never be healed. So you've got to let your mind know that you are allowing healing in your body, and believe that you are going to be healed from this behavior. So it is very, very, very important to do that. Infuse yourself with the positivity. If you can do that, then step in the healing process is when you now have infused this positivity, you have identified your new habits, and you are gaining confidence in whatever that you have decided. So you don't judge yourself by the decisions that you make, because remember, when you were starting, you were feeling guilty, especially let's say when your friends were coming in and they're saying, this is the party, this is what we are doing, and you would feel guilty about that. But now when you are in this stage, when you are like in a really complete, you get confident, you confidently tell them, no, I've made this financial decision, I'm not doing this, I've made this financial decision, I'm not doing this, and it is okay. And most of the time when you are inside emotionally okay with your decisions, the people that you are telling, they receive that, and you'll find yourself even explaining for other people. I know there was one of the decisions that I took, and I was like so completely okay with the decision that I had taken, and I would just say, no, this is what I have decided, and we would then move on, continue with the conversation and everything. And then when the friends are all by themselves, I am not there, someone will stand in for me and say, no, Phelisa is no longer doing this because she's taken this decision, and then life goes on, and then we're still friends, and we still do the things that we're supposed to do, or the things that we want to do when we are together, and all of that. So when you are in the final stage of healing, you understand the decisions that you have made. You are at peace with the habits that you are taking. You are at peace with the beliefs that you have adopted. And then when you believe that, and you have confidence in that, you then radiate that to everyone who is around you, and they just get you without you having trying to explain it. And then you become that, you live that, you become it. if I can put it like that, you become it, you become the habits and the decisions and the beliefs that you have chosen. So those are the 4 steps in the healing process. Number 1 is to, let your mind acknowledge and identify the wounds. Second one, the most difficult one, is where now you allow yourself to go through all the emotions, all the, allowing your mind, your conscious and the subconscious mind to go through whatever it's going through, and then allow to go to, allow it, as you allow it, you are letting it go. Then step number 3 is then when you are infusing yourself with the positivity. Step number 4, that's when now you're slowly gaining confidence and becoming the decisions and the habits that you have chosen, and become become the decisions and the habits. I don't know how I can put it, but become what you want to be. That is then now when you are creating a better future for yourself. And in a case where your wound was coming from the ancestral lineage, you are also creating a better future for your future generation. I'm being disturbed by the sun that is in my face, but it's okay. I guess I needed a bit of sunshine, even though it's showing itself in the zebra form. So thank you so much for tuning in. Please don't forget to subscribe. Please don't forget to share. And thank you. I am hoping, praying, and promising myself to, because I need to make this promise myself, to continuously update this channel with more content that is hopefully going to assist you. You can order the book in my website. You can go to my website and order the book, www.phelisamafunda.co.za, or you can contact me at 074 9311 000. 074 9311 000. Contact me via WhatsApp and order the book, or you can go to Amazon and download an ebook. This is the book, Healing the Wounds of Debt. What I'm talking about, I've extracted it from here. Obviously, I've navigated it a bit further, not the way I've written it, but it's essentially the meaning is all about here. So you can get the book. You can also follow me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and obviously YouTube. Thank you so much. See you next week.